Did Donald Trump really think that we would just move on? I really do believe he did. At this point, Trump thought that if he pretended he supported the release of the Epstein files, if Republicans got on board with their pretend vote really just for show, and Pam Bondi said that she'd follow the law, we would all say that that's good enough and we would move on. But we know what is still happening, and that is a cover-up. And new leaked Trump-Epstein emails reveal that is happening at the FBI, the cover-up, the redaction, everything you believe. We are going to get into it all. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video. And if you haven't already, and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button, because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into this leaked email scandal, I want to start, of course, with what Donald Trump is planning to do next to cover up for Epstein. And that's a potential pardon of Ghislaine Maxwell that Lawrence O'Donnell broke down right here.
Friend, Ghislaine Maxwell, a convicted sex trafficker who was a co-conspirator of Donald Trump's closest friend, Jeffrey Epstein, made a joke about pardons today. The man who seems to want to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell after she was convicted of luring young girls into the home of a rapist and sex trafficker who ruined their lives, made a joke about pardons today. And he told us the two people who he would never pardon, and those two people are not his old friends, Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein.
The turkeys being pardoned today go by the names of Gobble and Waddle. When I first saw their pictures, I thought we should send them, well, I shouldn't say this. I was going to call them Chuck and Nancy. But then I realized I wouldn't be pardoning them. I would never pardon those two people.
But he seems to want to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell. He would never pardon those two people, but he seems to want to pardon her. He would pardon Ghislaine Maxwell because she said to Donald Trump's criminal defense lawyer, who is now his deputy attorney general, that she never saw Donald Trump do anything wrong. Why is Ghislaine Maxwell now afraid of saying that same thing under oath in a congressional hearing? Ghislaine Maxwell's criminal defense lawyers have told the House Oversight Committee that she will take the Fifth Amendment in answer to every question if they subpoena her testimony. That means if a member of Congress asks Ghislaine Maxwell, did you ever see Donald Trump do anything wrong? She will not answer that question under oath now. She will take the Fifth Amendment. And so someone who will not make the same statement under oath to Congress that she has already made to Donald Trump's criminal defense lawyer is someone who just might have been lying to Donald Trump's criminal defense lawyer, who's now his deputy attorney general. It may be that most of what Ghislaine Maxwell said to Donald Trump's deputy attorney general was a lie. That's why she won't repeat any of it, not a word, under oath in testimony to Congress. If Ghislaine Maxwell commits perjury under oath testifying to Congress, the next Democratic administration.
I continue to say that I think what isn't in the Epstein files is just as damaging as what is in the Epstein files. And that is why I have so much interest, besides the obvious abusive power, with what is happening with Ghislaine Maxwell, because there is so much. I'm sure she has not written down on a piece of paper, sent in an email, said in a phone call, taken a picture of that she knows about Trump and Epstein. And that information needs to come out because the Epstein estate has been complying. Ghislaine Maxwell hasn't. And actually, before we get into these leaked emails from the FBI, I want to start with the FBI director who's getting called out by that Epstein estate. Epstein estate slams. Keystone Cash's claims docs were kept from FBI. The estate of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein has called out that it is not cooperating with the FBI ahead of the looming release of the Epstein files. FBI Director Kash Patel complained this week that the Epstein estate is refusing to hand over documents to investigators. Patel told a journalist that there was a difference between the information on Epstein, the US government's possession, and the information that his estate holds. Those are two separate boxes of information. And the Epstein estate has not been willing to share the information with the US government, Patel claimed, but that's simply not true. So Patel is trying to lie about the documents that he has. He's trying to claim that the Epstein estate is holding information back. We know that is not the case. But really, what he's just trying to do is buy himself time, which is what new leaked emails reveal about the process of covering up, redacting, and trying to fix these documents for Donald Trump within the FBI. Emails show Trump FBI paid $850,000 in overtime to agents reviewing Epstein files. Newly released emails obtained by Bloomberg on Tuesday provide a rare look inside the FBI's handling of the vast Jeffrey Epstein files, revealing how agents and FOIA personnel meticulously reviewed the redacted records earlier this year. The documents released to Bloomberg reporter Jason Leopold via Freedom of Information Act request shed light on what the Bureau has called the Epstein Transparency Project, including the striking number of man-hours it took agents to comb through the files. The emails show that around 1,000 FBI special agents from the New York and Washington field offices joined FOIA staff at Winchester, Virginia facility to prepare the files for public release, Bloomberg reported on Tuesday. Personnel were trained on redaction protocols through PowerPoint presentations and instructional videos, with workflow guidance updated based on discussions with the Justice Department. The FBI paid personnel from various divisions, including counterintelligence and international operations, more than $850,000 in overtime for working on the Epstein files between March 17th and March 22nd. According to the documents, Leopold reported FBI personnel clocked in a total of 4,737 hours of overtime between January and July. Of that, more than 70% occurred during the month of March while personnel reviewed the Epstein files. The documents show. Emails also reveal that agents reviewed a wide range of materials, including search warrant execution photos, street surveillance video, and aerial footage from FBI search warrant execution, the report said. One email on March 24th noted Phase 1 redactions. Redactions are complete, and added that Phase 2 preparations were underway for final delivery to DOJ by mid-April. Personnel continued to check and refresh files in preparation for public release. Leopold told readers that he had to sue the FBI to compel release of the emails, which the Bureau partially redacted while withholding more than 161 pages, citing ongoing law enforcement proceedings and other FOIA exemptions. Among the documents withheld from Leopold were the May 2nd email sent by an FBI employee with an attachment titled Epstein Overview Final. We know that these agents were instructed to remove anything with Donald Trump's name on it, to hide it, and to not package it for the Epstein release. We also understand that there's a lot in these emails revealing what hasn't been revealed to US surveillance footage, search warrant photos, that there is so much information that hasn't even been discussed by Pam Bondi. And what this shows is the all-out blitz that the administration went through to make sure that Trump's name was kept out of all of this, while they neglected to investigate further. What this email dump makes obvious is that Donald Trump's main goal, as we've known from the beginning, was not to further investigate Epstein. It is why, when he is now saying that he has to go after Bill Clinton and has to go after Larry Summers, we understand what Donald Trump is trying to do. Donald Trump wants to pretend that he has been after truth and transparency and justice from the beginning. But what he hired these FBI agents to do was to cover up for him, to redact for him, and to sort his name out of whatever information they dumped in the beginning. That was their goal. And they took FBI agents away from their jobs to do so, and had them work overtime hours to do so, making us less safe in an effort to cover up for Donald Trump. That is why Catch Petal is being slammed and called out by the Epstein estate. That is why Donald Trump might potentially fire him so he can be a sacrificial lamb. But it is not the only example of the idiocy that we constantly see in this cabinet. And of course, Jen Psaki broke it all down right here.
But it's also because he surrounded himself with people like this. I mean, those are two of Donald Trump's top law enforcement officials right there featured in that picture. That's Kristi Noem in those super stylish glasses on her red carpet and her red carpet sidekick, Kash Patel, spending their weekend hanging out in a pink Lego race car while attending a Formula One race in Las Vegas. Now, you would be hard-pressed, very, very hard-pressed, to find an example of a previous FBI director or DHS secretary, never mind together, in any comparable photos. And if this was a one-off incident, you might forgive them for having kind of, a little bit of fun after their rigors of their very important day jobs. But for Trump's cabinet, living like a C-list celebrity is the job. And no one seems to do it better than Kash Patel. Because the FBI director has been using federal resources for a lot of trips that don't sound at all FBI related. I mean, he has repeatedly used a government jet for recreational travel, including a golf trip with friends at a private island in Scotland, for example. Doesn't sound FBI related. That's not to mention his use of a government plane to attend a wrestling event in Pennsylvania, as well as a getaway to a Texas hunting resort called the Boondoggle Ranch. I mean, of all hunting resorts, Kash Patel could have visited the Boondoggle Ranch. Now, on top of all of that, Patel has also redirected SWAT team agents from critical duties, presumably like responding to actual emergencies, to serve as the personal security detail for his 27-year-old girlfriend. You can see a picture there, right there on your screen. And now his headline-obsessed boss, Donald Trump, is reportedly having second thoughts about choosing him to lead the country's top law enforcement agency. MS Now reported today that Trump is considering removing Kash Patel as FBI director in the coming months, as he and his top aides have grown increasingly frustrated by the unflattering headlines Patel has recently generated, according to 3 people with knowledge of the situation. Now, if that were to happen, Patel would have had the shortest tenure of any confirmed FBI director in history, making it through only about a year of what is supposed to be a 10-year term that spans multiple presidencies. And this is how the White House decided to try and push back on that reporting. A spokesperson told MS Now, quote, President Trump has assembled the most talented and impressive administration in history, and they are doing an excellent job carrying out the president's agenda. FBI Director Patel is a critical member of the president's team, and he is working tirelessly to restore integrity to the FBI. He seemed like he was working tirelessly in those photos. Now, I will tell you, I know from experience that when the White House statement is any version of the president has confidence in or this cabinet member is a part of a great overall team, just look at the whole team, it isn't typically a very good sign. But she really left us an opening there with that statement, and it got us wondering, what are the other members of the most talented and impressive administration in history up to these days? Well, let's start with the other member of Kash Patel's pit crew, DHS Secretary Christine O.
It has never been more important to talk about the Epstein files. And I will continue to say that as we continue to talk about how Pam Bondi is slow rolling, is putting obstacles in place. It is trying to block any information. We are going to keep talking about it on this show. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. Leave a like on this video. If you stuck around at the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let him silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.